Yo, what's up, guys? My name is Oliver Hayes with Buzz Stampede alongside Lee Rivera and Liam Howard from Scobo Sports. We are outside the T-Mobile Center about to go in for Day 3 of the Big 12 Championships. It's the final 4-game slate of the tournament, but we had a fun first 2 days here, especially because the Buffs have been winning. They pulled up some upsets. And today, the last seed of Buffaloes are taking on the top seed of Houston Cougars in what will probably be their most tough battle of this tournament, at least up to this point. If the Buffs are able to pull this off, I still think this game will be the toughest team. The Cougars will be the toughest team the Buffs will have faced. But, looking ahead at that game, the Buffs will need to play immaculate. Where do you guys think this one will start for the Buffs in order for them to get a win?
I think this one starts at the rebounds. Obviously, Houston's big. They're strong. And they're going to be attacking the boards. Elijah Malone's coming off his best game of the season. Is going to need to play physical. He's going to need to attack the cup and replicate the things he did yesterday if Colorado wants to have success in the paint against that smothering defense.
Now, Elijah Malone scored 14 points yesterday. His only miss being a three-pointer. He had a fantastic game, and it started to come together as of late. But the Buffs have kind of relied on whoever has played well, so we could potentially see a big game from Bangad Dak even. It will just have to see whoever is playing well against Juwan Roberts and Joseph Tugger. But, Liam, what stands out for you in this game?
Yeah, like Leo said, it's going to start down low. It's going to need to be the forwards. It's going to need to be Elijah Malone at the center. We're going to need our big guys to come through today because Houston's incredibly highly ranked for a reason, number 2 team in the country without a 16-point per game scorer. That is very rare in the top 25 in modern college basketball to have a team that's not running through premier scorers. They're running through their defense. They're running through efficient defense. They're running through physical defense, and we're going to need our big guys to get scoring down low and to be able to play and match up with these premier defenders. So it's going to be a physical game. It's going to be a physical battle, but that's the only way that CU is going to be in this one if they come prepared for that challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Inside the Cougars, they score the majority of their points inside. Juwan Roberts, he's able to get down low. Milos Uzan, LJ Cryer, those are guys that are able to attack the cup and score at the rim, so they like to score inside. But they can also hit the three-pointer as well, working that inside-out game. On the defensive side of the ball, where the Cougars are far and away the best defensive and rebounding team in the conference, they limit teams inside and really try to force them to make shots from the perimeter. So I think alongside a big, at least a solid inside game for the Buffs will need to shoot the heck out of the ball because they shot decently in that first contest, and if they can really exploit Houston's defense, not that you can exploit much of Houston's defense, but in the soft spot where that three along the perimeter in that defense, the Buffs will need to shoot the ball well, and they have so far this tournament, specifically R.J. Smith. He's hit 5 threes so far in this tournament, but we've seen some performances from unlikely faces, from familiar faces, from guys we expect, from guys we don't expect. But I'm wondering, who do you think, and you guys have mentioned Elijah Malone, but outside of him, who do you think will be the Buff to look for today?
I'm going to be real. I think Ronchik comes off the bench today potentially and has a big impact. I've been expecting him to do a little bit more. He's been a little bit quiet, but I won't be surprised if his name gets called to come up and make a big performance. As you mentioned, Coach Tad Boyles mentioned, whoever's the hot hand, whoever's got the energy is going to come in and play the majority of the minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out and gets a good day for him today.
I wouldn't be surprised either because true freshman Felix Casares has come into his shoes in this tournament. And Ranchik, who got more opportunities this season, he has come off to a slower start, but, as I acknowledge, these Buffs have really kind of just seen who has played well, and I think Ranchik could be a solid pick on both ends of the floor. What do you think, Liam?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with another young guy, Bangad Dak. I'm expecting him to have a big day offensively. We're gonna need to, as we were saying earlier, it's gonna be the big guys down low. And even though, Elijah Malone's the only guy that we have that's really he's got the weight to move around, but Bangad Dak brings that length that the Buffaloes are gonna need to pair along with him if they want to compete with Houston's big bodies down low. And so this is gonna be it's gonna need to be a big game from him if the Buffaloes want to succeed. And so I think he's going to step up to the challenge today after a bit of a slow start to the tournament, and I think he's going to keep his team in this game.
Yeah, I like those picks, sticking inside. I think my player of the game, or the most important player for the Buffs, will probably be Trevor Baskin or Hassan Jazope. They will need a big impact alongside whichever big man steps up guarding Juwan Roberts and Joseph Tugler, because they'll have their hands full. Hell, maybe even Bangad Dak and Elijah Malone will have to be on the floor playing a double big lineup against those two, because those two are a handful on the glass. But looking at some of the other games today, we have some good matchups. We had some great matchups yesterday. We saw an OT game between Kansas and UFC. But some big matchups starting off with Iowa State versus BYU. We have Kansas versus Arizona. And Texas Tech versus Baylor to end it off. So which game is standing out to you? And, anything else to add about that slate?
Yeah, looking at BYU first, I think if Richie Saunders is able to get up, get going, he's going to be able to provide a spark for them. Coming in, 2 days behind some of this other competition of not actually being in the arena, not actually shooting, BYU is going to have to rely on their defense, much like Houston, be that team that gets going in transition, is able to set up momentum runs, and I think they're able to capitalize and get a strong victory here today.
Yeah, BYU finished out the season on a really strong, they had a strong end to the season, and part of that was due to Richie Saunders, the most improved player of the year in the Big 12. He's played fantastic in the stretch and has played fantastic across the course of the season. We, of course, saw what they did to the Buffs in Boulder. But, Liam, which game stands out to you today?
Yeah, to me, I'm really excited to see Kansas and Arizona. That's going to be a dogfight. We got Hunter Dickinson, KJ Adams, Zeke Mayo. Those three had a heck of a game yesterday for Kansas, and it was a dogfight against UCF. UCF came and really put it to them, and Arizona, they got the double bye for a reason, and they're going to be an even tougher test for Kansas. But those guys stepped up to the challenge yesterday. They were a dominant Big Three against UCF, and I think it's going to be a matchup really of strength versus shooting. Arizona, a great shooting team, and they're going to have to play into that. They're going to have to shoot the ball well. They're going to have to do similar to what UCF did against Kansas yesterday and shoot the ball incredibly efficiently, shoot the ball well down the stretch if they want to try and hold off Kansas, which is Kansas is an incredibly they're an incredibly talented team. Lots of size on that team. Though, yeah, of course, Dickinson and KJ Adams bring some physical pressure. And so that's going to be a tough challenge for Arizona, but I think that they're up to the test, and I think it's going to be an incredible matchup. We could see another potential overtime game with the Kansas Jayhawks today.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that one went to overtime, because those are two very competitive teams, two historic programs that have been very solid, as long as they've existed. Yeah. So that one will be fun. But for me, Texas Tech versus Baylor, two Texas schools facing off. I think that one will be probably the most fun one of the game, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Fun one. Oh, excuse me. Jesus, Butterfingers. But I think that will be the most fun one of the day, because not only is it a Texas matchup, but VJ Edgecombe and the Bears played fantastic yesterday, running Kansas State out of the building. They shot the ball fantastic, and I think that they could come into this one with a lot of momentum, especially with Norchad Omier at the 5 position, as being as dominant as he's been this season. I think that they could come in and show Texas Tech what they're really about after kind of having a slower start to end the season, and obviously Texas Tech being one of the better teams, the only team to beat Houston in conference play. They'll obviously be coming to play. So we have a great slate of games coming up with the top 4 seeds in the conference finally arriving at this Big 12 championship to play some games. Beyond the Buffs and the, I guess you could pick a Buff. We already picked one, but you could also pick a Cougar as well. But which outside of those teams, which players stand out to you? Are they you're most excited to see today?
Again, like I said, Richie Saunders, to me, just because his impact, his improvement has been so awesome to see. That storyline, especially with BYU not having a lot of shooters, a lot of people who are going to consistently come out and put up big numbers, I think that's where they're going to need to start his rhythm. And if he cracks 20 points, they're going to win. Yeah,
I think that could very well be the case, because when he scores 20 points, the Cougars, they're also the Cougars. There's a lot of Cougars and Wildcats, Bearcats, lots of different teams in this conference. It's also day 3. I'm pretty tired, but Liam, who's standing out for you?
Yeah, JT Toppin's a pretty obvious answer with Texas Tech. He's gonna provide a big role in that game. But me personally, going back to that Kansas and Arizona game, I think one of the dudes that's gonna play a big role in that game. Hunter Dickinson obviously going to be playing a big role for his team, but KJ Adams, I think they're going to be looking for him to have a huge game. That guy, if he's able to get going against a team like Arizona, they're going to need him alongside Hunter Dickinson. If he's not able to get going today, it's going to become a very tough matchup for them very quickly. So they're going to need his physicality. That's a freak of nature basketball player right there, and if they can get him going down in the paint and they can get him going down low against a team like Arizona, I think he could play a huge role in them advancing to the next round, and then potentially beyond that. He's going to need to have a good end to this tournament.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. For me, I think the guy to look out for is Caleb Love. He's, takes a lot of shots for Arizona. Their leading field goal attempter, but he is a very streaky guy. When he gets it going, he can get it going and really fill it up. When things go cold, they go cold. Still, at the same time, as we saw in that overtime thriller where he hit that 3/4 court shot to send it to OT against Iowa State, he was shooting ice cold in that game before hitting that shot and then making 2 threes in overtime. So he can really heat it up. I think if he plays well, Arizona will have a pretty easy path to beat Kansas because, I mean, after seeing the way Kansas handled UCF yesterday, things are not looking too much in their favor despite the great crowd that we saw with the Kansas fans traveling from Lawrence to Kansas City. But unless you guys have any other things to add about today, I think we'll probably catch you at the end of day 3. Hopefully another Buffalo's upset is in the works, but we'll let you know. My name is Oliver Hayes, alongside Lee Rivera and Liam Howard. And as always, you heard it here first.